Hello travelers, Boardman21 here, and today we are going to discuss the third transformation coming to the Druid class, which is officially called Swarmblade. And if you look at it right now, we got some gameplay of it going on. It's more of like an insect looking creature, and you are going to be a very fast attacking melee attacker. You're going to have a swipe, you're going to have a 360 spin attack, you're going to be able to throw down hives, which will summon locust over time, or all at once for them, and they will attack with you, they will synergize with your other skills, and then at the same time you're also going to be an insect flying around, and some of your skills will interact with other skills. Your main slashing attack will indeed be able to synergize with the skill tree of Serpent Strike, and you won't have to wear a polearm. So I definitely see this transformation being very, very powerful with those kind of synergies. So let's go ahead and go through the forum post and everything they had to show us today on this third transformation. So, getting started, we hope you've been enjoying our Druid development week so far, and thanks for joining us here again for our biggest reveal yet. We're eager to show you all the major changes coming to the Druid Mastering 8.4, and we are finally able to do so with our third and final transformation, the Deadly Swarmblade. And then there's a video, if you haven't seen it already, there will be a link to it in the description below, but it's got gameplay of all three forms, and it kind of goes over the different things that you can go with it, and Judd kind of covers all of it. Pretty good video, definitely give it a watch, it's very insightful to some of the things you can do, and you can see it in action. Below that, we have Swarmblade, the new Druid form. When it came time to develop the final transformation for our Druid, we knew we wanted to do something unique and exciting. These goals meant we wanted to steer clear of other often used animal transformations so we could land on something fresh. When we started reviewing the stunning concept art for the Swarmblade below, we knew we had found the answer. You can see some of the concept art here. You can see they were going in a lot of different directions, but almost all of them are very insect-like, and almost all of them had wings, so you can kind of see the basis of where they were trying to go for it. Some of them more mothy, scorpion kind of in there a little bit. But the Scythe kind of look that we got, I like the most. I definitely like it. I would have gone with number 5 as well. He looks pretty badass. As we go down, we can see even more concept. You can see they're kind of homing in, and then we of course got the number 2 head that looks very close to what we have now. The ability to transform into a deadly flying bug that can slash your enemies to ribbons is a really fun fantasy we are excited to deliver in patch 8.4. The Swarmblade went through many visual and naming iterations before we had finally crafted the fearsome Bug King Hunter for you that you see below. And in the dev stream today, they mentioned that they have been working on this for over a year. The name has actually already been picked out for a whole year. That's how long they've been working on this transformation. Just to know how much work went into this, it is a year's worth of work or more. And then below you can see the new model for it, which looks really, really good. That's your 3D spin around of them. Then you can see the wings in action here. This is what it'll actually look like. Your wings will constantly be flowing. You will be a flying insect in game. You'll actually be hovering above the ground. Not that you'll be able to fly up or down, but you will be technically flying the entire time. The transformation. Transforming into the Swarmblade takes you into a spinning slash animation that we feel connects the player very well to the Swam Ballad fantasy. It feels visceral and impactful. This was a great feeling with the most transformation situations, but in some others, for example, Werebear to Swarmblade, it had been adjusted since a massive Werebear performing a full spin just didn't look right. And you can imagine a really, really big person is not usually that agile. And here you can see the spinning attack, which is really nice. When you transform into it, you're able to do a really nice 360 attack, which looks like it can do quite a bit of damage. Let's hope that can do a ton and really build into the end game with it. I do expect that this transformation is going to feel more overpowered than underpowered, as it's going to be the first time we get to use it, and I'm sure they're going to want first impressions to feel really good. So I do expect it to feel great, possibly some nerfs coming later on, maybe even a hotfix, although I don't think it'll be that broken. Swarmblade skills. The Swarmblade has 2 distinct fantasies we wanted to slice, one being a fast slashing bug and the other being the Hive Father. With only 4 skills on the bar, we were aware that in order to really hit on both of these, we would need to have these themes overlap on some skills. Also, having a contained kit like this on a character gives us the ability to create some really exciting ability interactions. So, skill number 1, the Arm Blade Slash. Swarmblade's first skill, Arm Blade Slash, is fast melee slash attack. It will be your most reliable attack in Swarmblade form with no cooldown and no rage cost. We designed the Swarmblade heavily around rapid melee slashing, and while Arm Blade Slash will be deadly, it will not be the only melee attack in our arsenal. And then you can see here, you are able to slash and attack. Now, I don't know what kind of weapon they have. I don't know what their attack speed is. I don't know if this is the default speed, but it already looks pretty quick, and I assume that we can build upon that even more, especially if we can build off the Serpent Strike skill tree attack, and there's attack speed increases inside of that skill tree as well, assuming it hasn't changed a whole bunch. We have Dive. Swarmblade's second skill is Dive. We knew we needed to hit the mobility aspect while also maintaining his aggressiveness. Looking at the rogue's shift ability, we saw how responsive and good it felt to use. So we emulated that for the Swarmblade while also decreasing the range a bit and adding a slash at the end. This allows you to either engage or disengage quickly. And here you can see that you are able to basically shift in. This is basically what it looks like. You're diving right into the enemies, and you have a nice slash attack. It looks like a front dual slash coming out, but it definitely looks impactful, and I bet you it's going to feel really, really good in game, being able to dive in and then not have to use an attack, but the attack actually coming instantly. Kind of like using Synchronized Strike or Shadow Cascade, where you can jump in and it just slashes everything. It's going to feel really good, I think. Summon Hive. Swarmblade's third skill is Summon Hive. When using the ability, he throws down a hive and summons some feisty locusts to fight with him. This hits the summoner theme that a druid should have and puts the Swarmblade as a hive father or king bee of sorts. And of course, these locusts will scale with minion damage, so we will be able to scale it at endgame to hopefully get them to do quite a bit of damage with us. I don't know how many affixes we're going to be able to have to do with minion damage to scale it, as well as scaling our own melee damage, but I assume it's going to work out alright. And here you can see that they're absolutely terrorizing the enemies and doing what looks to be pretty good damage. Enough there, it looked like it even stunned the bear, so looks like they can do decent damage. This is a beginner area. I assume that it's probably lower level in the gameplay, but I really think it's going to scale well, so we'll see how it feels once we get to use it a bit. And then we have Swarm Strike. Since the hives are going to summon locusts, we designed another skill that would interact with them to help promote the ability synergy. That's where Swarmblade's fourth and final skill comes in, Swarm Strike. Swarm Strike is a 360-degree heavy spin attack that also rallies your summoning bugs around you, dealing heavy AoE damage. This ability really rounds out the Swarmblade's toolkit. Now, it looks like once you use it, you have this aura kind of around you, and it makes... I can't tell if you have locusts that are actually spinning around or if it's summoning more, but I see several of them, and then it uses the ability, and then it looks like they disappear. So I don't know how they interact exactly. I'm guessing, purely guessing, that when you use it, it consumes all nearby locusts, and you get to do more damage per locust that was consumed in that AoE aura, which is locust damage, but really it's an aura damage based on how many locusts you had active. That's what it looks like to me, because it looks like they're getting consumed for that to be used. Then we have the Swarmblade skill tree. With every new transformation comes a new skill tree, and Swarmblade is no exception. Swarmblade's specialization tree is packed with a wide variety of powerful or nodes supporting different playstyles, as is the case with Werebear and Spriggan. Swarmblade has also several options to generate rage to stay in form longer or even permanently. Here we've got two nodes. We've got the Endless Pressure. You regain health and rage when you or your locust kill an enemy or when you hit a rare enemy or boss. Spriggan's Fury. You gain rage whenever you dodge. That can be very effective, especially if you build into a high dodge character. I assume rage would never be an issue for you. An important part of the Druid overhaul is also allowing players to utilize other primalist skills, even while being transformed. You will find several different options inside the skill tree for this. Here we have Wind Fury Strikes. You gain a stack of Howling Cascade when you use Arm Blade Slash and hit at least one enemy. Reaching 6 stacks consumes them to cast Tornado. This Tornado does cost mana cost. So here's the thing. I assumed that when you were transforming that your mana was going to disappear and in its place would be rage, but it looks like you will still have mana, and things that cost mana that you proc will still consume mana. The question is, does that mana go down still? Does it regen? If you run out of mana, does it knock you out of transformation? Or is this just a misleading tooltip and it's really going to be a rage cost, not a mana cost? Guess we'll find out eventually. Gain Howling Cascade stacks on hit with the slash, and then you cast Tornado whenever you get to 6 strikes. So it sounds like every 6 hits with an Arm Blade Slash is an automatic Tornado, which if you're against single targets, you're going to be attacking quick enough to have Tornado after Tornado after Tornado just kind of keep going, assuming depending on how this mana rage thing works out. And then we have Viper's Call. Your Serpent Strike skill tree now applies to Arm Blade Slashes, and it does not require you to use a spear or what was a polearm. So this is awesome. I don't know how much the Serpent Strike skill tree will be changing, but if it's in its current form, this also means you'd be able to have a Serpent with you, because you could have the Serpent actually be procced when you do hits. With Serpent Strike skill tree, you can get attack speed in there, lots of poison, you can get that 24% kill threshold, lots of good things inside that tree. We don't know how much that's going to change though. Then as we go down here, we have a few examples of some powerful Swarmblade nodes. Here's 3 more nodes. We have the Bloodlust Swarm. When you create a Locust Swarm with Spin, you consume all stacks of bleed on enemies hit by it, causing the swarm to deal more damage, multiplicative with other modifiers in a larger area. Locust Swarm per bleed, Locust Swarm damage per bleed, and the maximum area increased. So I assume this is the swarm that was consuming the Locust that we looked at just a little bit earlier, the little aura that you had going around you. And it sounds like when you use that, your first swipe, if you have a bunch of enemies with bleed around you, which would be really easy by using the slash attack with Serpent Strike skill tree, you could get your Locust to do tons of damage, so you'd have a really high damaging aura around you for a few seconds. We have the Soaring Scourge. Locust Swarm now scales with your minion damage rather than your damage. Ooh. So Locust Swarm, if you were building straight into minions and having the Locust do damage, that Swarm would now do increased damage as well, so you can kind of, you know, put more of your fixes on your gear towards minion damage, not have to worry about your damage as much. I like it. Especially if you have that Viper as well from Serpent Strike. Locust Master. The first part of the Armblade slashes combo now has a cooldown. While it is on cooldown, slashes are replaced with Summon Locust. Now this sounds cool. So I assume this means that if you're using Armblade and you're just going crazy with it, the first part of the combo, I assume it's a 1 or 2 skill combo, maybe even 3, but while it's on cooldown, you now just constantly summon Locust to go do your bidding for you. I can definitely see how you can build into a lot of minion damage with this. There's going to be some really cool builds coming out of this. And then here you can see what looks to be just a bunch of attacking going absolutely nuts. We got stuns. I like it. I like it. I think it's going to feel really good. It doesn't attack as fast as the Rogue did. It's not going to have that kind of surprising fast melee attack when the Rogue was first released, but I still think this form's going to feel really, really good. Alright, the new resource and permaform support. We're moving away from mana-based resource for all Druid transforms and replacing it with a new resource called Rage. This new resource system comes with new mechanics to support a wide variety of playstyles, including permaform builds as well as multi-form builds. To catch up on the new Rage mechanic, we provide more info in our previous blogs. Basically, they just say that there's going to be Rage instead of mana. Multi-form support, so this gets really good. You guys are going to like this. Now that there are 3 forms are revealed, we can talk about something really exciting. For those of you who prefer a more versatile approach to shapeshifting, we have added support for the power shifting playstyle, and we are so excited to see what our community can do with the power of multi-form support at their fingertips. To achieve this, there are some new nodes now in each of the skill trees that allow you to shift directly into another form without having to revert back to human form first. These direct transformations also come with additional effects. And here we have 6 nodes. There's 2 for each of the forms so that you can transform into either of the other forms. The real question is, what kind of cooldowns are there here? Can you constantly be switching? Do your other skills leave cooldowns when you transform into a new one? Do all your skills get cooldowns? Just how fast can you shift between all of the different forms? How does this affect Rage? And how many different skill bars can you memorize in order to really, you know, take advantage of the fact that you can do this now? But just looking at this, we have the Barrage of the Swarm. After using War, human form is now replaced with Swarm Call, which summons a Locust for each nearby stunned enemy up to 6 and transform you into the Swarmblade form. And then you have Voice of the Thicket. After using Rampage, human form is now replaced with Arbor Protection, which casts Thorn Shield on you and up to 5 nearby allies and transforms you into Spriggan form. So that's right, you can use Rampage all the way to a bunch of enemies, and then instantly be transformed into the Spriggan. Blades of the Forest. After using Summon Vine, human form is now replaced with Infestation, which converts your 2 nearest vines into hives and transforms you into the Swarmblade form. War of the Woodland. After directly casting Thorn Shield, human form is now replaced with Bark Skin, which adds 4 seconds to the duration of every Thorn Shield on you and transforms you to Werebear form. And you can kind of see how if you had all these skills on your skill bar, you could just go all over the place. Swarmkeeper's Call. After using Summon Hive, human form is now replaced with Cleanse Hives, which releases all locusts from up to 2 hives, replacing them with healing totems, and transforms you to Spriggan form. I don't know exactly how many total healing totems you can get total from that, but it sounds like you might be able to get a lot. And then Swarm's Fury. After using Swarm Strike, human form is now replaced with Angered Swarm, which adds 4 seconds to the duration of your Locust Swarm and transforms you into Werebear form. And I'm really curious how fast you can switch back and forth, because some of these 4-second durations seem almost long enough to be able to keep switching back and forth and keep it going the whole time. And then down here you can see some of these shape-shifting multi-shifts where you're going from Werebear to the Swarmblade here. You can see as soon as he uses War, there he goes. Down here you can see the Swarmblade transforming into the Spriggan. And then down here you can see the Spriggan transforming into the Werebear. So some really smooth transitions there. It should feel really good to use. I really like it. Thank you for joining us this week for the discovery of our newly discovered designed Druid Mastery. We hope to see you Werebears, Spriggans, and Swarmblades fighting back the Void across Edera when 8.4 drops later this year. Alright guys, how do you like this new third transformation? Does it exceed your expectations? Are you not super excited about it? Are you more excited by the fact of the skill tree interactions and synergies? Are you more excited by the fact that you can officially stay in forms permanently? Or are you more excited for the fact that you can now shift between the forms without ever having to go back into human form, assuming that you don't run out of rage? Go ahead and let me know in the comments below. We can discuss it. As always, stay safe and have a good day.